Shabbat Shalom from Temple Concord. This week we begin the reading of the book of Exodus, and in it we learn of fascinating events. We learn that a new Pharaoh rises in Egypt who doesn't know Israel, and soon our people are slaves. And we learn of the rise of Moses, of his being saved in a basket, and his going out and recognizing his connection with the Jewish people, and ultimately with his leadership of the Jewish people. And at that moment when he's in the wilderness and God calls out to him, God calls Moses through the strangest of images, a burning bush that's not being consumed. And Moses' reaction isn't to question the bush, but rather to take his shoes off because he recognizes he's on holy ground. There's so much in that idea of recognition that still has value for each of us today. I don't expect that we're going to see very many burning bushes these days, and I don't expect that God's going to be calling any of us necessarily these days. But there are certainly moments when we can recognize that we are on sacred ground, that we are experiencing something holy. The question is, do we see it enough? And when we see it and recognize it, do we do something about it? Do we do like Moses did, take our shoes off and recognize the importance and the solemnity of that event? I think choosing to live that way is something that we can do. I don't think it's something we have to be born with. I think we can choose to see the world as filled with holy moments, filled with times when we are in fact standing on sacred ground. The question is, are we going to recognize it? And so I hope that as the Shabbat unfolds and the week unfolds, you'll find yourself on holy ground, and you'll recognize it by doing something to acknowledge the sanctity that you're experiencing. This Shabbat we have services Friday evening. We have Tat Shabbat at 6 o'clock. Our regular Shabbat evening services for the first Friday of the month will be at 7:30. Saturday morning we have our Torah study at 10, followed by services at 11. On Tuesday our Scholar Series continues with Sandy Lane and Robert Rubenstein, both of whom teach at SU, who will be talking about healthcare and access to healthcare in our community. It promises to be a wonderful event, and I hope you'll join us. That'll be Tuesday at 6. And next week we have round 3 of Team Melissa versus Team Dan, the WRJ versus Brotherhood Bowling Tournament. So far Team Dan is up 2-0, and we fully expect to repeat. And now that I'm off of injured reserve and can compete, I'm looking forward to bowling with as big a group as we can put together. I hope to see you there. For now, though, I wish you safe travels in the snow, and I look forward to seeing you at the temple. Shabbat Shalom.